watching Creekbox TV.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Creekbox TV. I'm Allen Handley. We got the offensive coordinator, good buddy of mine, Dalton Wetherington. Dalton Wetherington, that's Daryl's son. He come to Homerville. He's originally from Lincoln County, of course, one of our rivals. Come to Homerville and stayed 3 or 4 years, then left for a couple of years, and then come back last year. Is that right, Dalton?
Yes, sir. I was here for 2 years, and I left for 2, and I come back, and this is going into my second year on my second trip here. So,
have you ever coached at Lincoln? You just played at Lincoln,
just played
right?
at Lincoln. I hadn't coached there, no, sir.
You've coached at Clinch, and where did you go to?
Elbert County, right outside of Athens, about 30 minutes away from Lincoln, and then was there for a year, and then I went to go live on Lake Blackshear and coach at Dooley County for a year.
All right, man. All right, you've been to some more high schools. How do you rate the Clinch County experience and the other? I know every place has probably got fond memories of.
It does. I mean, every place has got its positives and its negatives, but I mean, you can't, compare, back-to-back state titles. First 2 years as a varsity coach,
right.
You back-to-back state championships. So
nowhere to go but down.
Nowhere to go but down there. But the experience in Elbert was great. Just different type of kid, and you kind of learn. I think you learn more from coaching whenever you don't have necessarily the best players in the world, and the different types of kids and the different sections of the state and how they handle your coach and how they respond. Like, I can't coach kids up in Elbert County or Dooley County as I can here, and vice versa. So
that's right. You
just kind of sort of got to adapt the way you do things in every situation, but still stay true to your philosophy and how you feel coaching.
Now, you played at Lincoln County, of course, for the great Larry Campbell. Man,
yes,
one of the he is the winningest coach, I guess, in the state in all classifications.
Yes, sir.
Might be in the country. I don't know.
He is. When I graduated, he was number 3 in the country, and I think now he's number 5. But the guys that passed him were just trying to make a run for the record. And the only reason I know that is because I had plenty of people ask me that question, and I kind of memorized it after a while.
That's right. Well, now, let me ask you being from Lincoln, of course, you marry a lovely young lady from Homerville, Clinch County. In Lincolnton, everybody in Clinch County has respect for the Lincoln County. We started playing them back when I was a junior in '84. They beat us 7-2, and I forget, we've played probably 8, 9, 10 times, maybe.
Something along those lines, yes, sir.
Lincoln probably got a little edge on.
No, actually, I think whenever y'all played them the year before I came back, I think it was tied prior to that, and I think y'all took the lead after that game.
Okay, and it's been like that.
Yes,
I know
sir.
Lincoln jumped out to like a 4-0 lead to begin with, and the Panthers have kind of swung it around. Do the people in Lincoln look at Clinch County when they look at the paper? They say, "Oh, no, that you don't want to play Clinch County."
Yes, sir.
Kind of the same way we do Lincoln.
They do. Like I said, I got some guys I played ball with, and I talk to on a regular basis. They constantly want to know about how we're doing. Where do you see yourself in the playoffs and that and other? Because they specifically don't want to play us until later on in the process.
Right.
Obviously, if you're the best, you have to play the best anyway. But they constantly, hey man, I saw the score. How did Macon look? How did y'all look? Where do you think y'all going to be later on? Because they're trying to eye that bracket as well, so we can see them at the earliest in the quarterfinals, hopefully.
All right, now back up. What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated the class of 2012.
2012. All right, you played against, I think, your brother-in-law.
Yes, sir. I was the center and he was a nose guard. Yes, sir.
And James, man, I got to brag. James was good. James was good, man. Great defensive player. We were coming off the state title in 2010. I think we played y'all in
11.
Yes, sir. And James had it. I mean, all right. I don't want to put you on the spot now because I'll talk to James.
See, the thing is, me and him have never had this conversation in the, I think, 5 years I've been with Kimberly. We've never really had this conversation like who got who.
Yeah.
Because it's a team game, right?
That's
so,
right.
I mean, obviously, I won that end of it, but. And I'm not just saying this because he's my brother-in-law, but I wish I'd known that beforehand. That would have been good, smack talking the game. But he was difficult to deal with because he was in a 4-point stance. He tried to get up under my pads, and
he's always low to the ground, fire off the ball. James, a great player.
He was. Yes,
but now you also, man, you're a great center. You were. We went up there and played you on the first or second round of play. and that was your senior year. Now, how far did y'all go that year?
We lost the next week to Savannah Christian. That was a stretch where we went to the quarterfinals every year and lost to Savannah Christian. My sophomore year 7-0, my junior year 17-14, and my senior year 22-14.
Man,
but we still finished second in the state and only made it to quarterfinals. I think they beat everybody else by 35 plus.
Well, James will say the reason y'all lost, we beat y'all up so bad that it was probably.
He may have. I guess we'll never know because we won that game.
That's right. Well, man, we're glad you come back home.
Yes,
called this home. Now it is home to you.
Yes, sir.
You do a great job. You've done a great job. Won a couple of titles where you went off and tested the waters. And what brought you back to Homerville, man?
There's just something about Homerville. People have always said, when you get here, you question, but once you kind of, fall in love with it after a while, and that's true because there's no other place like it.
That's right, man. And we're glad to have you back. And we're going to go back and talk a little bit last year. Last year, the Panthers struggled early on, had the first losing season since in the 80s. I don't know what year. But, man, we were in every game but a couple. We had Pierce County and Appling County, which we were way outclassed against them two teams, man. And we started off slow. You, of course, are the offensive coordinator. And you would tell me, man, just hang on. We getting there. And, man, it's hard when you lose 35-34.
It is.
And, you're ahead 27-6 and get beat 35-32. Them type of games. The offense were putting up great points at the end of the year. And
I always tell anybody, especially that Turner County game, when you score 35 points in the first half, you need to at least score 7 in the second. We didn't. We kept moving the ball, but we just couldn't ever put it in there. But and that's what we talked about the entire offseason. Me and Coach Tyson, we talk nonstop every day. Just try to be either better or different. Sometimes you're just not going to be better. So, me and him talked, and I've talked to some coaches, and if you run that veer just the right way, that triple option the right way, even if you got the better athletes or you don't, you're going to be difficult to deal with. And me and him talked about that, and we kind of came to an agreement about he could see us doing that, and he played in it, so he was a fan of it. And
I love the veer. You got 3 plays in one, but you also got 4 because you cannot cover the option pass. Not if you run the option successful.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And man, what's killed us this year, we've had 10 inches of rain in 2 games.
Yes, sir.
And now we run it last Friday night. We come off a big win against Macon County. And man, it was there. The ball's just so wet. Now, Dalton, going back to that last year and this year, do you sit back and do you look at the players and say, hey, we're going to have to do this on offense because we don't have the talent like we had to run this type of offense? Is that how you game plan?
And that's the whole thought process behind the offense is because, if we were at the college level, I can handpick the guys I want to have. And, high school from year to year, most of the time, you're going to kind of tweak your offense a little bit. You're still going to run your power, still going to run your counter.
That's right.
But what other stuff you're going to have to go with it? And, we just felt like running the veer would suit the guys we got now. We're not as big up front, but I feel like we're just as athletic, if not more athletic than we were last year. I had a complete offseason to work with them. And we got the skilled guys that can get out in space, but we also got a few guys that can get 5-6 yards if we need to. And a quarterback that can take 30 hits a game.
Great. He's played great the last 2 games. Man, you got a young fullback. That's a freshman, man.
We actually got 2 of them. We got we call him Mighty Mouse, but Xavier Johnson.
That's exactly
and
right.
obviously we got Alvin Green. We call him Mister. So
yeah, I'm telling you, man. And once you get them adapt to the offense, a couple years from now, boy, that's that's where it starts. Really, is the fullback when you run the veer.
Yes,
I don't know, you do it, but I think you get them to honor that up. Getting them yards early, you can pretty much get it going. Getting to this season, man, we went to Nashville. And I'm going to tell you, when we took the field and Berrien County took the field, Berrien County got a good-looking team, and they had about 75 kids. One of the best-looking Berrien County teams I've ever seen.
Yes, sir. Coach Alligood definitely recruited the hallways because I remember when my daddy was at Fitzgerald when he was the coach there. Berrien County did not look like that.
No,
they
never.
They were massive, and they started implementing the weight room there, and you can kind of tell. But if they were in Class A Division II, they'd be in the top 5, top 10. They'd be an issue for a lot of people. We've played 2 really good football teams these last 2 weeks.
You have, and man, and both of them been wet. And coming into last week, Macon County, just a couple of years ago, we're playing for a state title and went last year to the 3rd or 4th round. Always, it's the first time we've ever beaten them.
Yes, sir.
Never beaten Macon County. I think that's probably the only school that the Panthers have never beaten playing more than 5 times.
Correct.
So, man, a big win. It was a long game. It got over about 11:30. We start 7:30. The week before, it took 2 days to get that game in, and I know, and y'all probably still meet on Sunday and do your game planning. I know y'all have had nonstop every day of football for the last now going on 3 weeks.
Yes, sir. And I mean, obviously, that's why we get paid the big bucks for it. But I mean, we just genuinely love it. So I mean, of course, you like to have a little downtime. We'll find time to do that. But right now, you're only guaranteed 15 and 10 weeks, but then you hope to have 15. You got the rest of the year to take a break. So we'll.
And I like this year, man. Last year we had like 3 or 4 Fridays that were open. This year, man, we go to week 5, we're open, and then boom,
yes,
we're straight in, into the playoffs with 5 more games. I like it, but now when you have injuries, of course, you would love to have the open game. Speaking of injury, how are we looking on injuries, Dalton?
Other than Levi Relaford, who he's a big help on defense, and he's playing some offense as well. Other than him, everybody else is completely healthy. We this week, with the weather being the way it is, it also allowed us to kind of lay back on the hitting a little bit because of the weather. But I feel like it was a good, solid week of more so mental than physical preparation for us. But other than Levi Relaford, everybody else should be good to go.
Oh, man, that is great. We're coming into, like I say, upcoming opponent, Miller County. Always a big rival with Miller. I think the Panthers are 14-8 all time. The last time Clinch played Miller County, of course, was 2010. That's the year the Panthers won the state title. They beat them 35-14. So, Miller used to be in a region, used to play them once, twice a year, and now the first time we played them in about 12, 13 seasons. Looking at them on film, what kind of team you think they got, Dalton?
They're a quality, Class A program. They got speed. They got enough size to where they can cause issues for you if you don't put them down early. And I'm not saying that we are, because it's going to be a tough football game. But if we do what we're supposed to do, I feel good about every game we play. If we execute like we're supposed to on offense and defense, I'm going to say that every day. But if you let them hang around, they can definitely hurt you.
And, looking back to Friday's game, the Panthers did great. As bad as the weather was, 0 turnovers.
Yes, sir.
Man, and I know you probably preach that at practice. You cannot turn the ball over.
Yes, sir.
Macon had 7 turnovers.
I wish we'd have capitalized on more of them.
Well, we did 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
You'd love to have 1 more.
Yes, sir.
But, it was just so wet. Both teams kind of, when it's wet like that, how does that affect you? When the ball's wet, it limits your playbook from 5 pages to, a half a page?
It may be 2 plays. But, no, I mean, it just in that situation, and I told the kids that Friday, I told them, I said, listen, the weather is the way it is. We're going to make sure we get 3 yards. It's 4th and 1, and unless Coach Tyson tells me different, I'm going for it.
That's right.
And he allowed me to do that a handful of times, and all we need is 3 yards. If we got to run power 25 times straight, Keegan, just strap your helmet up. We're going to run power 25 times, and we got other guys we can hand it to. But even in that situation there, you didn't want that sloppy exchange to where you had to fumble it, but. He manned up Friday and 30 rushes for 77 yards. That's 2 points something to carry, but I know he had a sack or 2 that kind of hurt his total.
Yeah, about 30 yards a couple of times there and a fumble that backed it up.
Yes,
man,
sir.
Let's talk about the last touchdown.
Yes, sir.
Have you been setting that play up, or you just said,
Not
hey?
in that moment. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, Keegan and Jeremy and a few other kids were like, throw it up to him.
Well, hey, Jeremy, there's nobody going to out-jump Jeremy. I can go ahead and tell you that.
Yes, sir. And honestly, I mean, if the weather conditions were not the way they've been the last 2 weeks, we would have thrown it a lot more.
That's right.
To Jeremy and Tucker. Both of them are great receivers, but we didn't have nothing else to lose, really. So,
man, and that just so much emotions going in. You got the game won. We sack him for an 8-yard loss, and they run a toss sweep, and he goes 65 yards, and they take the lead back with 47 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Then you say, man, we went from winning to losing. And that's something, man, y'all coached and kept coaching. The kids believed. They kept fighting, just like in Berrien County the week before. And, we had a good return on the kickoff and then had that late penalty that moved it up 15 more yards and a couple of good runs. And good thing about it, you had a couple of shots you could take at that point. But, man, that to end on a high note, that was an exciting game.
It was. You talked about this earlier. I mean, I'd love to have a game where, you kind of sit back and relax in the fourth quarter because you have it won, because I got a few more gray hairs over the last 2 weeks than I've had prior to that. But that's what football's about, though. I mean, just kind of going into it, to the very last whistle. I mean, that's something those kids are going to talk about for the rest of their lives anyway.
That's right.
And to be a part of that's great. So, but got a great group of kids that are not going to ever quit, not knocking the kid group from last year, but, this group right here is pretty special.
That's right. And, man, the future's bright for the Panthers. Every high school program, Panthers have been so good so long, just like Lincoln, but it cycles through. You have to have 2 or 3 down here, especially Class A.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's happened. But, AC Cooper's doing a great job at the rec park. We got young Panthers coming, and, man, the future's bright.
Yes, sir.
Looks good for the Panthers, man. You're doing a great job.
With all that credit goes to the kids. I just kind of stand there and advise them on what to do. They just got to go do it. So that ain't me. That's the kid. That's the good Lord and the kids.
That's right. But there's a lot of motivation that goes in it, and a lot of being prepared. And that's one thing our kids have looked prepared. And
yes, sir.
I mean, you can't sit here and say, well, 47 seconds. You're getting beat to go down there and win the ball game. I mean, y'all have done a great job coaching them up. They look coached up. And, man, maybe we can get to a game this Friday. We hope with the halftime it in 2 hours long.
Yeah, that would help too. But, if it's in the Lord's will, it's in the Lord's will for that to happen, just like it's been meant for us to win both of those games. So we hope the same thing happens this Friday without the weather. But I'm extremely excited about how the rest of the season goes, for sure.
Well, man, we appreciate you taking the time to come in the Creek Box. I know you got some stuff you need to go take care of, and hope to have you back in a couple of weeks. I'll call you, brother, and we'll talk some more Panther football.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
You're watching Creek Box TV.